Welcome everyone. I'm super excited to have you all with me today. We are going to be talking about navigating the job search. And we're going to talk about some of the strategies that our alumnus have gone through here with me today. I have got some incredible Curtin students that are going to be sharing their insights, and we're going to go starting with Zainab Kambati. Zainab Kambati graduated with a BCom in accounting. She is a junior admissions officer and a business development coordinator, and she's currently residing and working in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Welcome, Zainab. I'm super excited to have you with me today. And then we have Ahmed Yusri. Ahmed has a Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering. He is a mechanical engineering intern and currently working and residing in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Welcome, Ahmed. I'm excited to have you join us as well. And then we have, without further ado, we have Ziad Uthman, who has a Bachelor's of Science in Cybersecurity, and he is currently working as a technical operations engineer, also in the UAE. Welcome, Ziad. It's exciting to have you with me as well. Before we jump into any strategies, what I want to do first is help our audience really connect with you on a curtain to curtain level, in that they'll be looking at you not just as inspirations to where they want to achieve or what milestones they want to achieve, but also try to connect with you in terms of maybe some of the commonalities that you have, either your degree or just being a Curtin alumnus or a Curtin student. So before we dive into the panel, let's go around the table, and if you could all give us, imagine I'm on Instagram and I'm gonna cut you off at 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds or less, give me your elevator pitch. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing, and also how being a Curtin student has helped you to do what you're doing and where you are right now. So let's start with Ahmed. Ahmed, why don't you give it a go?
I am Ahmed. Yeah, I have a mechanical engineering degree, and my most recent role is working as in the R&D department of GAFU. It's called the GAF Tree project. So what we used to do is we developed an UGP which helps plant trees in the desert in the dry climate. So we have won multiple sustainability awards across UAE and the world. And currently they're transferring the company into this new entity called Seed. And I am currently not employed with them as my contract was over, but I am currently working freelance right now, helping them out and research other research organizations as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ahmed. And you did that really, really well. I didn't time you, but that felt perfect. So thank you. Zainab, why don't you give us an introduction?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Zainab. I'm currently working as a junior admissions officer at Curtin University, Dubai. At Curtin, I graduated with an accounting degree, BCom accounting degree. And they actually, how did I get here? Just to give a bit of a little quick insight, was the internship programs or the internship opportunities that I got from the careers team. With that, I am here. So anytime you might pop in through the office and you see me on the phone or you see me look down right now, it's probably because a student or a parent is reaching out to me. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Zainab. I love that. If you see me looking down, I love it. I love it. Okay, the realities of work, right? Things they don't tell you when you're a student. Ziad, tell us about a little bit about you and something about how being a Curtin student has helped you to be who you are today at work.
Well, my bachelor's was in cybersecurity. I spent my 3 years with an amazing experience at the university. The way I can relate to these students who have joined the call and would be watching me later, inshallah, is that I am someone who has been pursuing such meetings every day when I was doing my degree. I have attended 2 careers fairs and I have knocked on the careers department's door multiple times when I was there. CV writing, different ways to present yourself. I'm also someone who completed the employability series with Curtin. So I'm glad the people who have joined here are willing to listen to others as well who have been able to who go out and achieve something. And I'm pretty sure all of you who are trying there will be able to get jobs really soon as you graduate as well. As for my role, I am currently a technical operations engineer at CAFU. I just completed my internship period and about to complete a year here. So, Alhamdulillah, that's going pretty well as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Syed. Okay, all right, let's jump into this. I have so many questions. I've got my post-it notes because there's some definite questions that I want to be jumping into, things that I get asked all the time by students. So I can't wait to reach out. But before I do that, let's start with some of your job search strategies. So when you think back to, I know, Zainab, you mentioned about taking advantage of opportunities, internships, and Ziad, you talked about really engaging with the service and some of those things. But let's dive deeper into your secret sauce, some of your secret strategies that you did to get you to where you are today. Ziad, if you could pick your top 3 secret strategies, what would they be?
Well, first of all, I would say the most important for me has been networking. The way we are able to network today, both online and offline. We have a lot of platforms like LinkedIn and forums where you can connect to a lot of like-minded individuals online with the similar field and experience that you have, and even get to know what and how they have been tackling the situation and the market that is here today. Online, apart from online, offline, there have been a lot of events that you can go and attend, like JISEC, GTEX, a lot of those where even Curtin takes you and provides you the opportunity to go and connect with a lot of like-minded people in companies that are working right now and presenting their services to the people as well. So you get to learn about all the trending industry features that are going on right now currently and how you can stay up to date with them. And apart from networking, there's also the tailored applications that we need to keep in mind when applying for any sort of jobs, because a lot of jobs require specific skills or just skills or uh, sort of needs that they need from a certain employee, and how you can handle that and tailor your CV accordingly so that your CV stands out from the rest of them. And once you do get the chance of getting an interview or reaching that stage where you can directly talk with them, you need to show your most important soft skill that I've seen people struggle with is communication, because you need to be really confident and be able to really give out your message clearly so that the other person can also understand, like, if you have that knowledge and you can communicate it very clearly and show that you have those set of skills that we require. So these are the certain elements that are the basic elements that you need to keep in mind just to cross over each stage that comes up, whether that's getting to know someone or applying for a job, and how to reach that interview stage where you have the most high level of chance of getting to know exactly what the other company needs and how you can tailor yourself to suit their needs.
Amazing. And how did you learn all of those secret sauce strategies?
Well, I have given a few interviews myself, and the year that I've spent here at CAFU, I've had a very interesting opportunity to even interview some other students. Because in my own team, there's currently an availability, but we are looking for someone senior. So I'm in a very weird position where I'm interviewing people who will be hopefully my managers in the upcoming uh, in my team. So with my group members, I've been interviewing a lot of people, and we try to see and find out exactly what the technical skills we need and what sort of a person we need as well. So there are certain set of interviews that we go through. There's one technical interview, since we are in the field of IT and we need to know certain skills, whether that person possesses them or not. And then there's the set of soft skills, as we say, that have to be stated out as well, because we need to have to do a lot of reporting and communication with the other teams. We need to be clear and have those exact points stated out clearly for them so that we can go forward.
That is so interesting. Okay, we're going to roll right back to you, Zed. You said a few really key things. One, you said you're actually in a position of interviewing other people, which means you've got some more secret sauce strategies that we're going to dive into. But then you also said, although you're in a tech role and you're hiring a tech person, there's soft skills that are required. So there's some definite information that we're going to dive more into, but I want to go back around the table. So take a breath and we're coming right back to you. Zainab, you heard some of the things that Ziad said. Would you agree with any of those strategies? And if you had other strategies that worked for you, what would they be?
He did steal. I won't say steal, but he did say one, like networking. I would definitely agree with that. That being a secret sauce. That's one of my top strategies that I would look at. I think that's really important. That's one good tool apart from using LinkedIn as a platform. I feel like there are a lot of other networking events that you could go out to. I mean, even talking and networking within your own group or within your seniors, that helped me. That helped me because I was fortunate enough to, within the university itself, make friends with seniors who were already possibly working with companies outside. So they were also able to give me tips and tricks on how to really navigate through the market and how can I really land something. And the job market being as competitive as it already is, I think it gave me an added advantage as to knowing how could I really get the best out of it. So I would say networking, yes. And apart from that, being proactive. I think your volunteering, going in for internships, those really add in. So far, whenever I went through my bunch of interviews that I had before I landed my full-time job, there were a lot of times where the first thing that I was asked was about experience and how much relevant knowledge or experience that I have in the field. And of course, in the starting, I didn't really have any. So I think grabbing as much amount of experience that you can through either it be volunteering or internships is something that could add on for you to eventually get into like or land a job later on, basically.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to come back because it's interesting. Your degree is BCom in accounting. Currently, your role is junior admissions and business development. So you know what kind of question I'm going to come back to you with, but we're definitely going to come right back to you as well. So you take a breath. Ziad is still breathing. And while we're doing that, let's run over to Ahmed. Ahmed, talk to us about your secret sauce. So I heard you say your internship finished, but now you're working as a freelancer, still helping the same company. Is that your secret sauce to maintain that communication? And if not, what was your secret sauce and what strategies worked for you to get the role?
Yeah, so I think it's always good. Let's say you completed an internship with a specific company. Don't burn bridges. Always keep in touch with them. Check up on them on LinkedIn. Maybe if you are close enough, you can check up on WhatsApp. And always keep checking the website because they know you so well that if there is a job that comes up, they might give it to you because they already have an experience with you and they have analyzed you. So I think that's one of the reasons that I am still in touch with them. And also, as soon as you graduate, you have to have a specific goal on what kind of role you want to work in. For example, in mechanical engineering, we have so much we have covered with sustainability. We have covered about automation, HVAC. So you should think of what exactly do you think will suit you and apply to companies based on that. So that way you will be happy with what you do and you will not just keep applying for anything and everything. That makes sense.
That's a hard one, right? Ahmed, is this idea of it's I feel it's the unemployment journey is a very emotional journey. And sometimes an individual can go into the fear of mindset. Like, what if I can't get a job? I might as well just apply to everything. So I like how you said that. Think back to what you learned and which part of it you like so that when you're applying to companies doing that thing, you know that you'll enjoy doing it and don't just apply to anything. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, let's go back round to Ziad. Ziad, you mentioned in the interviews that you're involved in as you interview future colleagues, not only as a junior colleague are you interviewing a senior potential colleague, but you're also realizing that yes, hard skills are important, but within teams, there are soft skills that are very important. So talk to us about the soft skills, because sometimes students only look at their degree and they look at the hard skills, the tech stuff that they need, and they overlook the importance of communication and other type of soft skills that you just mentioned are vital part of the interview process.
Yeah, exactly. Soft skills are very important. The reason being, I myself, when I joined this company, I had two interviews as well. One was the technical interview where we were only asked two questions, and right after I've completed that interview and went to the next stage, that's when I got to talk with the manager, where he just tested me on my soft skills, asked me about stories and my experiences. But my importance, I realized the importance of soft skills in my very first interview itself during the technical interview. I faced a big issue when they asked me the second question, which was on programming language that I had no idea about, but or not no idea about, but a very little knowledge at that stage because I was more into the hacking per se, and this role didn't require that part. It only required the programming aspect of it. So the way I tackled that was I told them this is on my CV. I have a bit of experience with this, but the reason I'm unable to answer to you guys at this stage is because I haven't been revising it or been using it lately, and that's why I don't remember exactly how I can tackle this, which was a fair point according to them, and they understood that this is something I am aware of, but I can quickly get back on. It's just that I don't remember it currently. And then during the next stage, I was recalled on that exact question, and I was asked whether why they should think that I am confident enough that I can get back on this. So I showed him a few of my programming languages, programs that I had created. I showed them the work that I had done before. And because I was confidently able to tell them that, hey, I have this experience, it's just that I need to brush up my skills on these. And confidently convey that message to them is how they agreed on this and let me go forward. This brings back the importance of communication and confidence. You need certain skills that allow you to effectively convey your message that, hey, I'm a suitable candidate, and this is why you should hire me. This stuff also needs to be given importance as well as your technical skills, because if you have the right material that they need, but you're not able to tell them that you have them, they won't know about it, right? A lot of the interviews I give, I don't go through the entire CV that I've been provided. Sometimes I need to only look at the major points that I'm looking for, and the rest I only question the person itself and ask them to tell me about it. So even when you have a long CV that you provided, it's not that the other on the other end the company has read through your entire CV. They've only looked at the main skills that they want, and they're going to question you about it when they ask you when you are giving that interview. So you need to have those soft skills so that you can convey that, hey, I have what you need, and I can be a bigger factor in providing you an excellent growth, and that you can achieve the goals that you have in mind, and we can align on them together. So that's my take on soft skills, really.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so remember I said I had my post-it notes? You guys have already touched on three of my notes. One is the CVs. Yeah, you nailed it. I say this to students all the time. I don't believe they actually listen to me, but you just nailed it. You said it. You might have a long CV, but actually in my interviews that I'm doing right now, I'm only looking at what I need, and I'm going to ask them about that. So, CV, done. Then you talked about networking, both Zainab and yourself. And actually, Ahmed, you said the same, but using different words about building those relationships with people in the form of networking. You all said it was important. So, done. I'm loving throwing my post-it notes. And then the interview. So Ziad, it's really interesting because you are not only someone who talks about your own interview journey, but now you're also talking about it from the perspective of the actual interviewer. So guess what? We're going to be knocking on your door and getting you into definitely another podcast interview. But with time, so I'm looking at the chat box. I don't see anything coming through. Remember, if you have any questions, please post them in that chat box. And while we're waiting for that, I'd like to go over to Zainab. Zainab, you probably know what I'm going to ask you because I kind of gave you a hint before. You graduated with a BCom in accounting. Zainab, if I heard this once, I heard it 1,000 times. Students thinking their degree is going to define their employment journey. Here you are with a BCom in accounting. Yeah, probably at some point in your internship journey, were like, I only want to get an accounting role. But now you're doing an admissions officer's role and business development. How does an accounting student do what you're doing today? And what are some of your tips to any student out there thinking they have to limit themselves to their degree title?
That's a very nice question. So I'm going to start off by actually putting it out there and being as candid as possible. I knew already from my second year of studies that I do not want to pursue a career in accounting. So even when I was searching for my internships, they were not really limited to accounting. They were more towards areas where I already found interest in, which was either sales, marketing, or mainly sales or marketing, right? And I absolutely do not agree with the fact that, oh, the degree that you only do is what your career needs to lie in. I mean, there's so many people around where their degree is one and their career is another. And that is something that I also realized very later on. Once I actually got the full-time job that I currently am doing, that's when I spoke to more people, that's when I realized that no, my degree doesn't really have to define my career progression. It doesn't have to define what I do right now. It's more about where my interest lies in, and what I want to do in the future, right? So I think what I did during my specific time was that as I was applying, I was more open to exploring different areas. And that's when I got that internship opportunity. And once I started doing that, that's where I felt like this is something that I think I would definitely want to venture into, because it had a little bit of counseling and it had a little bit of marketing and sales. And I just was open enough with my line manager that if there was an opportunity, and that fell through. So here I am.
I'm excited to be here too.
Yes.
Definitely. Amazing. Amazing. Ahmed, we talked about so many different things, and I liked what you said about I'm going to quote what you said. You said, don't burn bridges. Really important to stay in good light with previous employers. You also said, like, if an opportunity comes up and you've had a good relationship with them, they might consider you for that next role. In a very competitive workplace right now, in a very competitive labor market, not just here in the UAE, but globally, what would you say is a very important thing to remember if you want to keep those conversations going with previous employers? Because what I see with students is sometimes they will think that they have to keep telling someone, hey, I need a job. Do you have a job? But the reality is that can be quite annoying, couldn't it? So think about your secret sauce in terms of maintaining those positive relationships with your previous team. What are some of the tips you can offer students?
Uh, so I would say one of the first thing is you should not tell them that you need a job constantly, because that could get annoying at one point. And but what I'm trying to say is keep in touch with them. Just talk about the industry trends. Talk about something that you like. Like my previous manager and I have a common interest in automation. So we talk about cars a lot. So we sometimes exchange. He sends me some articles on patents on this kind of car. So these kinds of connections is important. And if you know them personally, you can even go out with them, have a coffee, because I do that with my manager quite often. And these kinds of small things can help them, because one thing that is happening in the market right now is your CV is you are getting jobs mostly based on references, and references is the key in the job UAE, at least in the UAE job market. So I think keeping these kinds of contacts is really necessary when it comes to looking for it, because if there is a chance that a job opportunity arises, they would think of you first, and they're like, okay, I know a guy. Even if you are working in another company, they would say, okay, I know a friend who's doing good at this. I have seen this happen, because there was a time when I was also part of hiring someone for my team, and HR hunts people down based, especially they ask the employees first, do you know anyone who is good at this, so we can hire them, if that makes sense. So that's one of the things, that you should always keep a good relationship, and networking is a must, as Syed and Zainab discussed already. Always keep your CV updated, because you never know when you might need it. That's one of.
Yes, keep it updated. Definitely keep it updated. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a question that's totally off script. You guys have been comfortable, and normally when I have guests on my panel, I like to spice it up a little bit. I think sometimes, or oftentimes, when I'm speaking with professionals at different milestones of their career, whether it's entry level or close to retirement, they get a little perplexed by this next question. So get ready, okay? I want you to think about who you were before you graduated. And that's an important one, because you were probably in a different mindset at that time. Most likely, either really excited about graduating and excited about that next milestone, or really nervous about graduating and, thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do when I graduate? So I want you to remember who that person was and describe that person in less than a minute. Ziad, let's start with you.
I was at the most nervous end of that spectrum that you can say, because when you're graduating, you've completed your degree. The next step is usually the one that is in the student's mind is looking for internships or jobs. If you haven't come across any internships like me, I never came across any internship that was suitable in my field, and I could do so with my degree. So I was very nervous when I completed my degree, and I completed it at a point where I had almost a year in the graduation ceremony itself. So I just had time at home where I was applying constantly every day on LinkedIn, trying to get in touch with anyone who I had come across in different meetings and different events that I had gone through during my university days. And it was very hectic, to be honest. It was like work in at itself at home when I was looking for jobs, and it is very tough. But one thing to keep in mind is always be patient. It took me 8 months or 8.5 months to get to land this job where I am right now, and it's been almost a year now. And definitely, as you said, after being at the stage where I'm interviewing people, I get to see other students and the way they behave, and I remember what I used to do as well. So it's definitely a very big step up in change that you go through yourself, because you're at a different level where you were back then. But I must say, patience is very important. You never don't need to get very tensed or nervous about this. You will land your job when you are confident and ready, prepared for it. So just keep applying, keep learning. Any interview that you go through and you never get a response from it, just learn from it. Even replying back after an interview to the company and saying, hey, if you could let me know what my issues were, or why didn't you hire me, any sort of response from them is very important for you to learn and be prepared for the next interview that you give in. And meanwhile, while you're doing that, you also have to stay up to date with the industry trends that are currently going on. Because especially in the field I am, things change with a snap. You have to be prepared for any sort of attacks that come in. What was the issue? How was the resolve? We recently had a Black Friday, if you could remember, when everything stopped for Microsoft. It was a CrowdStrike attack that literally stopped all the computers around the whole world. And a lot of companies, including Kafu, had a lot of loss because of it. So you need to stay up to date with whatever is going on and be prepared for whatever that could come in across from the company that you're trying to apply for and be ready for it.
Thank you. So what I heard you say is, let's normalize. It was an anxious time for me too. Took me 8.5 months to land the job. Stay resilient, keep going and stay updated. So you sound like a very empowered young person today. Would you agree with that?
Uh, I still have a lot of things to go for with. I'm still learning. I'm still doing certifications with my own free time. I have one that I'm currently going to finish hopefully by this weekend. The thing is, especially in the field that I am in, learning never stops, and it's not going to stop when you land your first job either. You're always going to look for different opportunities, different ways to present yourself, make a good impression on someone. Networking, as other panelists also mentioned, and always staying up to date. That's something you'll have to keep on as long as you go on with your career. So this is just the first step, right? Landing your first internship is a very big step for anyone, and starting your career with that is very important. So even if someone says I am empowered, I would say I need to go a bit more and a bit more whenever I get asked about that.
Amazing. But it's okay to be empowered, right? You have to celebrate every single milestone. So it's really important. But we're going to come back to that. Zainab, tell us like just a snippet view of what it was like to be you right before you graduated, and then how you're different today.
The same. So it was probably at the very bottom of a black hole because I had a lot of things tied up to me getting an internship and then eventually finding something that's not just going to give me an internship, but also something that would be promising, where I could start off my career. So definitely very anxious. The last 6 months of just countless amount of job applications and redos of CVs, tailoring to what job I'm applying for and keeping it up to date. So that was quite a period. But looking back from then to looking back now, I think definitely a lot more at a bit of a comfortable place, knowing that of course I do have my job, but then it doesn't stop here. Like as Syed mentioned, um, you still have to keep going. Things change every time, so keeping yourself up to date, still making connections, expanding your network, and you don't stop learning regardless of which job you're at. So I couldn't agree more with what Syed had to mention.
Amazing. So you are also very empowered today, and celebrate it. Don't tell us 100 reasons why you're not, like Sian did. Celebrate it, because you know what? It is such a journey. And you're right, that anxiety of what am I going to do? Sometimes you described it perfectly, Zainab. It feels like you're at the bottom of that like dark place, right? And am I going to make it out there? So we need to normalize that for university students. And we also need to celebrate the milestones. Every little milestone is a celebration of that milestone. And I'm sure 8.5 months ago, Ziad, a year ago, you've been at the company a year ago. If we go back to that unemployment journey, if that Ziad knew that you'd be on this panel today, Dad Ziad would probably have said, "Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. I can't wait for that to happen." So own the
For sure.
empowerment. Ahmed, let's not overlook the journey of where you are right now and everything that you're doing. So talk to us about what it was like to be you before you graduated and how it feels now for you.
Okay, I was actually excited and scared at the same time for my graduation because I got my job as soon as I got my degree. So my ceremony was in September, but I was already working. So I was actually excited to see how actually it could turn out to be, what opportunities I could explore after this. So, I mean, it is a tough job because for my job, for my first interview from Kafu, it took them 3 months to call me. I applied and they called me after 3 months. I actually thought Kafu was calling me to get my fuel delivery. So I thought if they were calling me and I called them, the first thing I said was, "Hey, I did not order any fuel yet." And they were like, "No, no, we're going to give you a job." Just calm down. So just never settle for something less. Always keep, as I said, always have a goal in mind. Keep yourself updated on the world technology and everything. Always have a specific industry ready, specific companies ready, because what's meant to come for you will always come to for you. That's one of my personal things. Because right now I applied for a job. I got a call right before this panel discussion from Audi Volkswagen for a specific role. And it was something that I was excited for a month. I applied for it a month ago. I can see I was excited for it then, and I got the call, and I was like, I was super excited for it now. So just keep in mind that you might feel a lot anxious as soon as you're about to graduate. You might feel like you might have so many questions in your mind whether you're going to land a job, but everyone will get the opportunity to prove themselves. So just hang in there, because I've been there. I think everyone who's working right now in any market has been there. It takes a while, but once you get there, it's going to be worth it.
Amazing. The three of you, I cannot thank you enough for being with me today. We've been going on for almost about 40 minutes. So let's have a little shout out to our chat box. Anyone in the live audience, if you have any questions, this is your moment. You've got three iconic speakers here sharing their insights, how they navigated that job search strategy. So this is your moment. I can't see anything else. If I start asking you guys any more questions, we might be on for another hour. So if there are no questions from the audience, we're going to round it up and say thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate this time. It's such a wonderful conversation to have, because oftentimes in the Careers Hub, we see students coming to us at the time that you were at before you graduated. That feeling of anxiety, Miss V, how am I going to do this? This idea that the CV, if I do it once, it should be enough, but we know that's not true. And then some of those tips. So thank you for being here. We wish you the greatest success. And before we say goodbye, I'd just like you all to give us one final tidbit. And that is one last thing, not three, not five, not 10, just the one thing that you think is the magic key to someone's emotional strength through the job finding strategy. What would that one thing be for them to stay emotionally strong through the journey? Look at them. They're all looking up. They're looking for the answer. They're like, what's the one golden nugget? Who wants to go first? Let's start with Ahmed.
Okay, I'm still thinking, because it's all it's a tough question, because there is not one thing that can help you navigate through, because the journey of being unemployed is quite tough, and you have to have so much emotional support just to get your like self together. But I think one thing that I used to do is every time I wake up, I used to just say, you got this, you're gonna get it somehow. And I have my friend is actually here. Her name is Sakshi. She has been very supportive of me, and she has always been motivating me. We both are in this together. And she used to always tell me, so I think one thing that would be is talk about how you feel to your people you love, and they will always give you one of the best advices in life. So I think that would be one of the key things that you can do, because talking to yourself sometimes doesn't help. It helps up to a certain extent, but then after that you might get carried away. So yeah, I think Zainab and Syed might have a better answer.
That sounds great. Zainab, we're going to twist up the question a little bit. Darlene asked the question, how do you manage stress and anxiety? So instead of the emotional nugget, it's how do you manage the stress and anxiety when you're looking for a job?
Very good question. So for me personally, what I did was just be patient. There's only so much that you can do. It's not like you can go and knock at all of the employers and be like, hey, I need a job, give me one now. So I think being patient, having faith is very important. There's a lot of times when you could just be, like I mentioned, like you could just be at the bottom of the barrel. But I think it's important to pull yourself up. Not every time, of course, that is possible. So I think also having, like Ahmed said, having a good circle around you who means good for you, who motivates you, who just bring out the good in you. That helps a lot, and that's helped a lot for me personally as well. Having friends who are there, who are good supportive systems with family far away. So I think that helped with my stress and anxiety. Just being patient, because it's gonna come when we are around. It's gonna be fruitful.
Amazing. Thank you. You're right. That is a big one. Thank you so much. Now, Ziad, we had another question pop up. So I'm going to add this question plus my previous question. Jayesh asks, if we get offered lower expectations, should we take it up or wait for another opportunity? The reason I'm asking you is because you're also an interviewer that may be in a position to offer someone lower expectations than they would have hoped for. So do you think that students should take the opportunity or wait for a better one?
Well, I personally believe it really depends on the role that you're applying for. Sometimes you might be offered a role that doesn't directly or completely align with the skills that you have or the position that you're really hoping for. Like for me personally, the position that I'm currently in doesn't exactly align with the degree that I did and the interest that I had of hacking or penetration testing. It's more of looking at the operations side of it. But still, I balance it with two factors. The main factor would be the chance to grow and the stuff that I will get to learn here. That depends on either the technical skills that I'll get or the new understanding of the way the infrastructure and the teams work, any sort of skills. If you can balance out on a paper where you can see, hey, the skills that I'm learning here, despite getting a lower income or lower whatever the offer is, if you feel like you're getting to learn a lot, I would say go for it. If you feel like this doesn't align exactly with what the goals I have in mind and what the offer isn't what I was expecting, then I would say wait it out, because opportunities will come in. As better as you get, as up to date you stay in, you will be getting a lot of opportunities. It takes time. Patience is key here. It didn't come to me in a month after I completed my degree, and it didn't come to me even after I finished. I got the graduation ceremony and I got my degree in hand. So it takes time. It takes time, and a lot of interviews. As I go to your previous question, a lot of interviews. I remember being nervous until the very end. You feel like you're not prepared enough, and that's how you screw interviews as well. Because sometimes you might stutter a lot and you don't know how to answer it, or if you don't know the thing exactly, you just straight up say it. I don't know, which works if you're being honest, but you have to find ways how you can tackle that and make that a positive outlook over your entire profile that your interviewee is looking for. So that's one thing. As for staying positive, I would say support is very important, as the other two mentioned. You have to have someone who supports you, both whether it's family or friends. But if you're really alone and there's no one there to support you, I would just say, for me personally, the main way that I was positive was reading about a lot of different people's and their journeys. There are a lot of good books about it, and I can not recommend a few on the top from the top of my head, but there are a lot of good stories out there. And even when I joined CAFU, I read a lot about our CEO, Rashid Al Ghurair, and how he got to start it. So you learn, you read about different stories, and you understand nothing came to them on a silver platter. They worked and tried to get where they are today, and it took them a lot of time. And as you're starting a career now, especially right after completing your degree, it's not gonna come in immediately. If it does, that's well done, and very good luck, to be honest. But it does take time and a lot of interviews. It doesn't matter if you're leaving out an opportunity that comes in, if it doesn't scale out on that balance. Wait for it, get the best opportunity that you think you have, and then go for that one. I would say that.
Amazing.
That's
Thank
my
you
piece
so
of
much.
To that point. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
yes,
want to add to
Ahmed,
that.
go for it. Yeah, go for
so
it.
sometimes you might get a good role, but the pay might not be good enough. So I just want to say to everyone that money matters, but experience matters more. So take that opportunity, build yourself. Maybe in the future you might be offered with something better. So never turn down an opportunity as well.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ahmed. Okay, and that is it. We are going to wrap it up. I'm seeing more questions coming in. Aisha has put into the chat box a link. If you haven't done so already, please click on that link and fill out the form. If you do, all of the questions that have been submitted, we will be responding to if we didn't already. And you will receive a personalized email from the events team here at Curtin Careers in Dubai with the responses that the guests, our panel guests, have shared with you. So thank you so much to all three of you. Ahmed, Ziad, Zainab, I cannot thank you enough. It's been such a pleasure. If you are ever at Curtin in Dubai, please stop by the Careers Hub and say hello. And everyone in the audience, thank you for being here. I look forward to sharing the recording of today's interview with you all in September. You got to look out for that calendar. Wherever you are in the world right now, watching in the Zoom room or watching us on the recorded interview, I hope you're well, and we will see you all at our next Curtin Careers in Dubai panel guest with our alumni students. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.